So you're managing diabetes, and I bet you've been told to say goodbye to all your favorite foods, right? No more roti, forget about rice, and that piece of fruit, don't even think about it. It can feel like you're stuck with a lifetime of restrictions. But what if I told you that you could eat all of those things and still keep your blood sugar totally under control?
This is the one question that just drives so many people crazy. It feels like this constant tug of war between enjoying your food and, managing your health. But the answer, believe it or not, according to years of nutritional science, is a huge resounding no.
And this is the secret. The key isn't about cutting things out completely, not at all. The key is to get smarter about how you eat. It's about building a meal strategy that works with your body, not against it. So let's get started and build that strategy right now. All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with the core idea. Then we'll dive into 3 simple rules: building the perfect plate, setting up your carb budget, and harnessing the power of protein. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with an action plan you can use, like today. Our guide for this is Dr. Salim, who has spent the last 2 decades helping people just like you control their sugar through food. And his whole philosophy, it really boils down to 3 simple things: what you eat, how much you eat, and when you eat it. If you can master these 3, you've pretty much mastered your blood sugar.
Let's kick things off with rule number 1, the perfect plate. This is all about what you're putting on that plate and how you arrange it. Think of it as the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, let's talk about some really simple science behind our food. Think of refined grains, like white flour or that fine suji for upma, as fast-burning fuel. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. It digests super fast and just floods your system with sugar. On the other hand, whole grains are packed with fiber, and that fiber, it acts like a brake pedal on your digestion, which means you get a much slower, more gradual, and totally manageable release of sugar. So, how do we actually do this in the kitchen? It's way easier than you might think. For your rotis, just use whole wheat flour. You could even mix in some high-fiber millet flour like ragi. Love upma? Just swap that fine suji for dalia or cracked wheat. And for rice, no, you don't have to give it up. Just choose a good quality long-grain basmati. Here's a great trick. Boil it and drain the starchy water before it's fully cooked. And of course, just keep an eye on your portions. Okay, this right here. This is the goal. This is your blueprint for success at every single meal. Look at it. 50% of your plate should be filled with non-starchy veggies. We're talking salads, cooked greens, cauliflower, you get the idea. 1/4 of the plate is for your protein, your dal, paneer, eggs, or chicken. And that last quarter, that's where your carbs go, your roti or your rice. Seriously, if you can just picture this plate every time you eat, you're already winning. Okay, on to rule number 2. Once you've got your plate looking right, the next step is to think like an accountant. We're going to create a carb budget. And no, this isn't about being restrictive. It's about being smart and making informed decisions with every meal. So what does this budget actually look like? Well, the guidelines are pretty clear. For women, you're going to want to aim for about 30 to 45 grams of carbohydrates per main meal. For men, it's a little higher, somewhere between 45 and 60 grams. Now, a quick tip. If your sugar levels are running a bit high right now, it's a good idea to start at the lower end of that range and see how your body feels. Let's make that budget super practical. A medium fulka has about 15 to 18 grams of carbs. So if you're a woman with, say, a 40-gram budget, 2 fulkas fit perfectly alongside your veggies and protein. 1/2 cup of cooked rice, that's about 20 to 25 grams. This chart basically takes all the guesswork out of it, so you can plan your meals with confidence. Now, I've got a super simple trick for you, but honestly, it's a game changer. The order in which you eat your food actually matters a lot. By starting your meal with those fiber-rich vegetables and then moving on to your protein, you're basically creating a buffer in your stomach. So when you finally eat your carbs at the end, that sugar gets absorbed much, much more slowly. No sudden spike. It's such a small change, but it makes a huge difference. And that brings us to our 3rd and final rule: recognizing the incredible power of protein. People get so focused on carbs, they often forget about this guy. But protein isn't just a sidekick in this story. It's one of the main heroes when it comes to stable blood sugar. So how much do you actually need? Well, a really good target to aim for is at least 1 to 1.2 grams of protein for every kilogram of your body weight. So for example, if you weigh 60 kilos, you should be shooting for at least 60 to 72 grams of protein every single day. Protein is amazing. It keeps you feeling full, it slows down digestion, and it helps protect your muscles, which are so important for using glucose. And just like we did with carbs, let's break this down into real food. A single large egg gives you about 6 grams. A good bowl of dal comes in around 8 to 10 grams. And you can see that paneer and chicken really pack a protein punch, with 18 to over 25 grams per serving. If you keep this guide handy, it becomes so much easier to track your intake and make sure you're hitting that daily goal. All right, so we have our 3 rules down: the perfect plate, the carb budget, and the power of protein. Now, let's pull it all together into a practical, no-nonsense action plan that you can start using with your very next meal. Check these out. These meal templates put all 3 of our rules into practice. Look at option A. 2 fulkas hits your carb budget perfectly. The dal gives you that great protein, and the large bowl of veggies and salad, that fills up half your plate. Option B does the exact same thing, just with rice. You see, these aren't just random meals. They are perfectly balanced systems for blood sugar control, and you don't have to give up the foods you love. You can have the best strategy in the world, but it really doesn't mean anything if you don't know how your body is actually responding. So please, don't guess. Check your blood sugar. Use a glucometer, maybe even a continuous monitor, to see the real-time effect of your meals. That data, that is your power. It tells you exactly what's working and what might need a little tweak. We've covered a lot today, from the science of grains to the power of protein. But knowledge is only powerful when you put it into action. So looking back at everything we've talked about, what is the one single first change you're going to make to your very next meal? That small step, that's the beginning of you taking back control.